What's up, everybody? This is CJ Johnson, and this is More Live Video Podcast. I'm here with my good friend JOVELYN. What's up, JOVELYN?
How's it going, CJ?
How you doing?
Thanks for bringing me on.
JOVELYN works with me at Lifehouse. She's been amazing. She's actually the first person that wanted to partner with me, so I really appreciate that you did that. It actually, I want to say it, motivated me to keep going, too. I probably never told you that, but it was like, man, I don't know if I can do this because this is hard, And then when other people from the outside see you doing something and they're like, oh, dang, I want to do that too. Then it kind of reassures you oh, snap, maybe I'm doing something right. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you. I'm sure Laura would probably appreciate that too. She's like, okay, bro, you just quit your job. You better get going,
Better get on it.
Don't stop now. But yeah, so, how did we meet again?
I pretty much contacted you on LinkedIn. I was looking
for
something else, and then I was looking for something going on outside of my W-2.
Yeah.
My W-2 isn't currently real estate.
Yeah.
And I have a passion for wanting to learn more with real estate.
So
I felt like, kind of like when people are just like, oh, I hate my job, not enjoying it, I'm not happy, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then some people are like, hey, sometimes you need to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And then also maybe do what you love on the side for now until it takes over. So I think that what I wanted to do was get my hands dirty with real estate, more action to it and all that stuff. And maybe even if it's just connecting with the right people or just asking more questions, wanting to learn more about ADUs, wanting to learn more about the development of real estate, all that stuff. So reached out to you.
I feel like that was a bold move. You just inbox people.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn, that's super bold. And I think for LinkedIn, for the most part, I get a lot of spam on there. Right. I don't know if you do too.
I do, yeah.
So for the most part, I don't really pay too much attention to a lot of people reaching out, but there's something about you in general, your personality in general, where people recognize authenticity and genuinity with just how you come off, your heart. And I think that's why you connect with people on a very high level, because they can see that and they feel it when you come. So there's people that in the business, in the real estate business, that when they approach me, I know that it's it sounds salesy,
Right.
And it sounds just like they're trying to get a deal. So a lot of people in this life, I've noticed, they approach you when they want something, and if you approach the person back with the same thing, it's not going to work.
Right. So
with my mindset going into business, owning a company, I was I watched one of my mentors, Kalani, who was founder of ADU Geeks. And Kalani took a humongous risk hiring me. Yeah. I had no experience in real estate at all. He said, well, what can you do? I'm a pastor. I don't know. So he's like, you know what? You're hired. Just, clean up, answer phones or whatnot. And I'm like, cool. So I'm an office manager basically, and I'm learning the job as I go. And so I remember that, that somebody took a risk on me. But I also think that at that time, my heart posture was that I just want to connect with people and learn, and I feel like that's what I felt from you as soon as you approached me, even on LinkedIn, which is kind of awkward for me. And I was like, she's really trying to get her foot in the door, and she's really genuinely just trying to learn and grow. So yeah, let's connect. I don't mean I just started a company. I can't pay you right now, but we'll figure something out,
That's the thing too, is it took me just listening to podcasts, Bigger Pockets, Bigger Pockets Real Estate, Bigger Pockets Business, Bigger Pockets Money.
Yeah.
And then the guest speakers that come in, they're telling their stories and oh, I came from this, I came from nothing, and I didn't even know how to spell real estate.
Right.
Into coming into you now have numerous properties, or you making a certain amount, whatever it may be, that brings you purpose. And it stuck out to me that like we all start from somewhere.
Yep.
And whether the person that you're looking at across the room is super successful in your eyes, they started from somewhere too.
Yep.
And a lot of times it's where we all started, where we know nothing about what we're trying to get into yet.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, right?
Right.
Speaking of starting off, let's take it back to you as a child. Were you raised in California?
Born and raised in San Diego. Yeah.
Born and raised in San Diego. So me and you are San Diego natives. I wasn't born here. I was born in Michigan, but I moved here when I was 2. But I call myself a San Diego
pretty much
native. So how did your family get to San Diego?
So my mom and my dad actually met after they came here from the Philippines. Both were born out there.
They were both born in the Philippines. Then they moved to San Diego. And when they moved to San Diego, they moved here. Did they have like a job or family or? Like,
no. So with my mom, she had moved in with her family. Yeah. And then with my dad, same thing with him. And they actually met through work. So my parents met through work. Maybe like down the street from where I currently work. So it's it works.
Wow. I have an interesting story about that. Yeah. When I was 16 years old, I worked for a company called Olga's Kitchen.
Okay.
And my parents actually met there. And they did a little like newspaper story or whatnot. I was a dishwasher and a waiter there, and my mom was a waiter and my dad was a cook there.
Okay.
And so I did a little, hometown story about it. So I was like,
cool.
Hey, so every year when I go back to Michigan, because my parents are still out there, we go to Olga's Kitchen like that. We go eat there. But anyways, so your parents work where now?
So my mom is actually out in Washington State.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. And where did they meet? Sorry.
Oh, my parents met at a company in Miramar.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then from there on, they just started dating, and then out comes us, I guess.
Out comes us. How many siblings?
So my half brother and then my younger sister.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. So you get the brother's the oldest.
Yeah.
And then
I'm the middle child.
Okay.
I guess I'm the troubled child is what they say. So
there's something about middle childs. Like my little brother is more like reserved.
Okay.
He kind of like hides, and he sees my older brother, me, I would get in trouble all the time. Well, I'm not doing that. Then you look at my little sister, we're like, dude, she's getting away with everything. Like, what the heck? Yeah. Like, something about middle child. And then my 9-year-old, or excuse me, she's 10 now. She just got a phone. So I told her when she turns 10, she get a phone. Nice. She kind of like is in the middle too. Like she kind of just like hides in the middle a little bit, and you're like, where is London at? Like she's in the corner on her iPad, and the little one's over here getting away with everything. So I'm like, there's something about middle childs, they kind of just like observe more. I don't know if that's true or not.
I think that's true. I think it's like observing like the older sibling and then the younger sibling, and it's like, okay.
Is that how you were?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I have to admit that I was definitely a troubled child.
Oh, wow.
Got into bad situations, a lot of things involving different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. But I'd like to think I'm a little bit more of the conservative one in terms of, I guess, like observation.
Yeah.
Just like observing stuff a little bit more lax, I guess, now too. So I think after I caused that trouble, I'm like, I'd rather just stay on this side of
What's the most amount of trouble you got into as a kid?
Oh, there's definitely a good amount, but if I could point something out, the most amount of trouble is when I used to get into fights a lot.
Fights? You don't seem like a fighter.
Yeah. It's nice.
You said it's nice.
It's nice to hear that. Yeah, I think it's just after. So I didn't mention before, but my dad actually passed away from cancer 11 years ago. So fast forward, and then also my parents divorced before that, all that stuff. So there was a lot of like moving and all that. So I think just not having stability or a place to call home, or before I could really be comfortable, it was swiped away under me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think during those times, I was just like being a rebel with everything and doing, just staying past curfew, not, just there's a lot of stuff. But
Was your younger sister doing that stuff too?
No, she's looking at me like, you're bad. And I'm like, fast forward a little bit, I'm like, you're probably worse than I was.
Was your younger sister having issues because of the divorce and your father passing away?
Absolutely. Also, my sister has recently opened up. I don't even think she realized that she opened up with stuff that I didn't even know younger, you know? So when my dad passed away, I had just turned 18 a couple weeks before he passed. And my sister was probably, I think, 14, 15, maybe around there. Wow. And when she now tells me these stories, just like throughout the past years, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
Like I thought, okay, like if I'm dealing with it bad, with like our parents divorcing and just seeing that like toxic house or whatever it is, you know, like I can only imagine at a younger age, you know, like not being able to kind of gather what's even going on.
Hey, how do you process all of these things that are going on right in front of you? You're 14 years old, right? You're like, crap, my younger brother later on in life, he's like, you just left. He's 6 years younger than me.
Right.
You know, my parents would argue a lot. He's like, you just left. And I was like, dang, man. Like, I don't have anybody to talk to. Like, there's nobody, like, kind of mentor me like you were before you joined. I joined the Navy at 17. And he was like, 12 years old. He's like, man, you were my dude, you know? So I was like, I didn't know that.
Right.
I was just, I'm like, dude, I'm trying to live my life. I'm trying to
do. Absolutely.
Do what I need to do. Yeah. I don't know, you know? So, like, now looking back, you know, him and I have those conversations like, hey, I'm sorry about that, man. I'm here now.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you need? Call me. You know, you have those conversations now. But I think that, you know, sounds like you have seen that and you're working through those things with your little sister. What about your brother? Did your brother have any kind of like issues with during that time as well? I know he's a little bit older.
Yeah. So, not to throw my brother under the bus or anything, but so I did mention that he was my half brother.
Yeah.
So my my sister's dad actually raised him at a very young age.
Oh,
so
wow.
he considered my dad as his dad, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I mean, for the most part, like he's such a easygoing guy, super friendly guy, super loving, all that stuff. It's really caring. And I think it was hard for him. This is just me putting my assumption on, like, because of his situation. I obviously don't know what he's dealing with, but like I can't even imagine like not being super close with your father, and then also on top of that, like kind of getting your dad that raised you like shoved under your feet as well. So
that's like a double whammy.
Yeah,
you know, it's a double situation where it's like, how do you even? It's like, dang, dude, I just wanted this one thing, you know, and I had it, you know, even if it was somebody else with my biological dad, and now that's gone too. Yeah. It's very hurtful, you know, and I think that, you know, I have guests on this podcast all the time, and every single person that I bring on here has a story of overcoming something very tragic, and like yours, that's super heavy. You know, your story is super heavy. And so I think like when people encounter you, they wouldn't assume that you were, you know, fighting, and they wouldn't assume that you had all these, you know, deep, you know, issues with your family and things like that because of, you know, how you come off and how you interact with people. And I think that's very special, you know, when people they can't recognize the hurt and the things that happened in your past. I think that's special. Because it's like a superpower, honestly. You know, it's like the heroes, you know, the trauma of the heroes, like Batman, you know, his parents get shot, and Superman, you know, his whole planet gets destroyed, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to do something positive, and I'm going to help people, right? And then you got the other side where it's like, you know, Kingpin. Oh well, my dad did this, and you know, so I'm going to go destroy everybody, you know, or Joker, you know, or something like that. Well, so everybody treat me bad, so I'm just going to shoot up everybody. Right. And so you got the two different sides. And I think that, you know, growing up in a bad neighborhood in San Diego where there were gangs and drugs, you know, in the area for myself, you know, I've seen that, you know, like a lot of friends I grew up with, they all joined the Lincoln Park Bloods. You you know, I come back to 6th grade camp and everybody's like blood. I'm just like, what happened? You know, we were all just playing basketball and you know, video games last week. Like what happened, you know? Yeah. And they all got recruited and, you know, we're doing some not all of them were doing really bad stuff, but some of them were, you know, some of the guys that I grew up with are in jail for life right now. You know, some of them got shot. And so like, for me, it's like, yeah, you have these issues, you have these situations growing up, and you have to make the decision, you know, to think about how you're going to move forward in that. Right. You know, it's on you. It's like you can either use it as a tool to help yourself and help others, or it could be a burden to you, you know? So, fast forwarding to right now you have a main job, right? And you're in the real estate, you know, investment community. You're doing a lot of amazing things right now. Where do you see yourself as far as like impacting the real estate community right now? Like right now with the stuff that you know, first of all, you know a lot of stuff. It's just because you're hungry, you know, you keep asking questions, you keep showing up, you keep, you know, knocking on doors on LinkedIn. Hey, I want to know something, you know. It's you know a lot more than you think you know, and it's very powerful. So what do you think right now with all the stuff that you know, what do you think you would be most have the most advantage in the real estate community?
I think, like you said before to me, I'm a huge connector. So I've allowed myself to not be, I guess, rewinding just a little bit. Yeah. Like based off of like my childhood story, all that stuff, not having anything that I could just like, okay, this is going to stay a long time. Yeah. But instead getting swiped under the rug kind of thing. So I think as far as what I could do right now and what I'm doing with this stuff right now is my main thing is, I guess when I was younger, I think the reason why I wanted to always be in control was because I was never in control. Yeah. And that took over. Mm-hmm. So it started to become a thing where it's like, okay, I started to, you know, get in fights, do all this stuff. It's like I'm in control or whatever, like you're being a bad person, like all this stuff, whatever it is. But I think fast forward to today, that's brought something out of me where I realized I actually recently don't want to be in control anymore. Yeah. So no matter how much knowledge, no matter how much money, no matter how much this and that, like I don't want the control. I want the rhythm of it. Yeah. So I think that sits very like strongly with me because I watched like a video online and the girl was saying like the biggest lie is for you to have control over anything. Mm-hmm. And that's very true. And like in just life in general or whatever it is, you don't have control over something. And when you think you do, something's going to change. Yeah. So growing up, we weren't, you know, super well off, all that mm-hmm. stuff. And then there's a lot of transferring to families' houses, which I really, really thank my family for. I could never repay them for how much they've given me. It's crazy. But fast forwarding to that, using what I've learned just with that control itself, like I want to build into ways where it's like, okay, like I've decided I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Yeah. I want to learn from other people. Yeah. And just like people have said, like you wouldn't, or like just like you were saying, like you wouldn't even know my story if you just met me kind of thing. Right. So I think we know something until we really don't, until we're humbled to really know like, oh, you know what? Like we actually don't know a lot. Yep. And just recently, you know, the past few years, I'm like, I'm going to open up myself to opportunity. I'm going to open up myself to knowledge. Yeah. So whether that's going to be for my self-growth, for my career, for my goal in real estate, whatever it is. Right now, yes, the W-2 does, you know, of course, like a lot of people pays the bills, all that stuff gets by and all that. But then also I find a hard passion in real estate. Yeah. So
what connects you? What motivates you to want to do real estate out of all this stuff? Like you could say, you know what? Cool, W-2. I want to paint. I want to be a painter. So why real estate?
So I think real estate just because ever since I was younger, I'm filled with a family of like healthcare.
Okay.
And I always felt like,
is that a Filipino thing? I'm not gonna try. No. I mean, wait, I'm not gonna get canceled, right? I'm not gonna get canceled. Wait, let me say something about black people really quick. Hold on. You know what? Black people actually do like chicken, okay? We love chicken, but so do Filipinos, okay?
No, it's a very true thing, I think. Yeah. But yes, of course, many more. But yeah, a lot of my family, all healthcare, majority of healthcare. And I always felt like I was the odd one out. I was like, oh man, like,
you didn't
want to do healthcare. Yeah. And I think, because my parents, I'm really actually very glad that my parents didn't force healthcare on me.
Right.
Because I know a lot of people, not just in healthcare, but in anything that they're in right now, it's like, oh, I did this and this. And I was like, oh, like I'll just ask them, like, oh, why do you do this? Or what got you into that? Oh, because my parents just
pushed you,
told me to go do that.
It's heavy. It's not just a Philippine thing. I think it's in the Asian culture in general. There's a like, hey, what's going to make you the most money? Right, oh, be a doctor.
Right. Doctor, lawyer.
Yeah, it's
nurse.
Like you're coming, and it's understandable 100%. You're coming from the Philippines, right? I have a friend that his family's from Indonesia, and he said that his mom would like make wells, out of mud and clay, and just like it's really like almost like third world over there, right? So you come here, you're like, oh snap. All we got to do is learn and listen and get education, and then we can be well off.
Yeah, because I mean, the knowledge, like all the information that you receive, it puts you in a different corner of like perspective. Like a perspective is a box, right? Mm-hmm. Until all that information starts to open up the boxes, tear the walls down, and it becomes even bigger.
Yeah, so it's totally understandable. Yeah, like okay, so. Your parents didn't pressure you.
Yeah, so I was very thankful for that. They didn't really pressure us to just get in a specific career field or anything like that. My thought was like, oh, I want to own a business. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, I was just like, oh, I want to make really cool stuff, and I just want to sell it to people, and I want the things that I am selling to mean something. Yeah. So I want something. I don't want to just sell stuff just to sell stuff. I want to have it mean something in some way, whether it's to the person or from me, or from my background or my family's background, ancestors, whatever it is. Yeah. And I always thought like, oh, real estate, right? Fast forward into middle school, high school, everyone's like, oh, like you're such a people person. A little bit after high school, because I mean, high school is a little bit shy. Yeah. My friends and family watching this, they're probably like, oh yeah, right. It's because like once I get closer to you, it's like, okay, I can,
you open up.
Yeah, open up and stuff. Yeah. So at first, I'm a very shy person, but I decided, oh, maybe like I'm too shy. Like maybe I'm going to close that business side down, because I'm like, oh, you have to really like be able to sell. You have to be able to talk to people, all that stuff, the connections. Yeah. And then just hearing like a little bit after high school, and like my best friend Amanda, and then like, all these people are like, what do you like to do? What do you think? Like, what's your thing? Yeah. And I'm like, I've always thought about business or real estate.
Yeah.
And like, because people were saying like, why don't you get into like real estate?
Yeah.
And like at the jobs that I had, like I was really good at sales, and like I was really good at this and that, and just talking to people, and all that stuff. And then that kind of like light bulb moment, right? So I think that's when I was like, I've thought about this before. Why not?
Yeah.
So I think
what's stopping you?
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest thing. Is what is stopping you? Literally nothing but yourself. And just like the fear, and they say like, oh, grass is greener where you water it. Fears, or there's like opportunity in the other side of fear.
Yeah.
But yeah, so real estate, because I do like, connecting people and like talking to people, all that stuff too. And I think also it does, like I recently found out, I really thought to myself, like, why do I want real estate? Like I've never been so set on something, right? And then at one point it was like music, singing, guitar, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And then...
Do you sing now?
I used to sing a lot when I was younger, yeah.
That's also a Filipino thing?
Number two.
Wait, so do you actually play the guitar or no?
Not as well as I want to, but...
okay, you can play though.
Yeah, I could pick up some chords, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I understand where you're coming from with the real estate, and I hear why. Because you're like, man, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but I feel like homes are very important to you.
Yes, That's exactly what I was saying.
That's right. That's what I'm hearing from your story. Is just like, okay, well, I kind of moved around a little bit, but your family made the place a home for you wherever you went, right? Yeah. That's what I'm hearing, and that's amazing because, like, yeah, it's weird. When I was in the military, it's like we'll be out, 6-7 months on a tin can.
Yeah,
it's
like, crazy.
Dang, this sucks.
I don't know how you guys do it.
But you know what's crazy is that after month 2, it becomes home.
Yeah.
You're out in the middle of the ocean. Hey, what's up, brother? Yeah, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, what you getting for chow today? I don't know. You guys want to go work out in the gym? And it's like you get used to that environment. And I think that from there, my mindset was like you said, grass is greener where you water it. Yeah. It's like home is where the heart is. It's the same thing. You make the home.
Exactly.
So that's cool that real estate kind of gives you the opportunity to do that on many different levels. You can obviously invest in properties, hold them, and like provide, housing to people in the community. You could sell a property to somebody that's aspiring to buy a house and things like that. So you have a lot of different opportunities to have like that safe place for people. Because we honestly, like, besides work, we, as humans, we spend a lot of time at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like our thing. Like it's in our mindset. It's like homelessness is like tragic.
Right.
Like you like, if I called you one day, it's like, JOVELYN, I'm homeless. Like, I don't know what to do. You'd be like, dang, dude, that sucks. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, it's tragic. So, for us, it's like, we understand the importance of home because we were moved around a little bit in our past, and we understand that the people make the home, wherever you're at. So that's cool that you got into this industry because of that, because it does show like how you interact with people, because it shows that your heart is into it,
Yeah, and
find purpose.
Right, and that was always my thing. It's like everybody knows what they want to do. Everyone's already in what they've always talked about, and I'm like, where am I? Where am I with all this? And I think once I realized, like, hey, I did want to own a business, I still do, and I'm like, I do want to do real estate, and it's so personal to me, and I love it. Like, the passion's there, know. And don't get me wrong, of course, like, there's still fear, this and that, which is something that, like, I thought, like, oh, maybe I'll get over that. And you won't. That's the thing. Is like you got to maneuver with it. Again, it goes back to like how I don't want to control the situation. I just want to find my rhythm.
Yeah.
So
it is a rhythm. It's like I was telling somebody, it's in my faith, in Christian faith, and they're like, I don't believe in all this frequency stuff. I said, there's frequencies, man. There's frequencies, and like in fact, I was at the mall one day, and I was with my daughters, and I was zoned out. I was just happy. I was at alcohol malls with my kids. I was like, yeah, let's go to the mall. And this guy, Hindu guy, not even same religion as me. He's like, hey, man, hey, you're really happy. You got the light. Like, that's literally what he said to me. I was like, yeah, you too, man. You got the light too, obviously, like, I didn't know like what he saw, but I saw his smile and like how happy he was to see me. You know what I mean? So that is, to me, that's love, you know? And I feel like I can recognize that in other people. I feel like you can too. Yeah. I feel like you can too. Future JOVELYN, let's say, for example, I'm going to use a big number. Let's say you're making $20K in passive income every month with real estate investments. Let's say doing more real estate is just off the table. What are you going to do? What do you do with $20K passive income in real estate? And don't say invest in more real estate. What do you do with your life?
It's a good question. My thing is, I want to provide housing, not just for humans, but also for pets.
I love that. You have Theo.
Yes. I love my Theo. It's his birthday today, actually.
Oh, happy birthday, Theo.
So I got him some steak. I'll get him a cake later. But yeah, so pretty much, just create like
Theo's
a shelter.
Her dog.
What's that?
Theo's her dog.
Oh yeah, Theo's my dog. By the way. But yeah, I've talked to like a few good people about this, like my sister, my cousins, just close friends and stuff like that, where like it's always been my dream to build like, just get a bunch of land and have like a container home neighborhood, or like just like that outdoor experience. I've always loved outdoors. Got that from my dad.
Yeah.
And also my mom too. And I want to do that. Have loved, just like, I always thought it was really cool to just gather with friends and family, like a brewery.
Yeah.
Or like bring your pets. You can bring your pets to breweries, most breweries, all that stuff. And just like gather. So I was always like, I love hanging out with a lot of people, with like my family, my friends and all that stuff. So just gathering. So in like the main, like just, let's just say like this is a land and there's just a whole neighborhood in a circle. And then in the middle of the circle, you got like a brewery / like restaurant, eatery that is actually supporting local businesses outside of that community.
I love that.
To bring up the businesses, make, put more eyes on these things, and then have pop-ups. Yeah. Right. So everything like shop local type of thing.
And then you got housing, container housing right there in the middle of that whole neighborhood. That's awesome.
And then would have like events, right? Yeah. So would have events, whether it's like for just like things that they don't teach you in school. So finances, taxes, also about the self-growth, all that stuff, to like have like an event, like maybe once a week for the people that are staying there, for example. Yeah. Right. So just like providing knowledge to the community as well. And then on top of that, an animal shelter that, where a lot of times like animals go through like 100 days not being like adopted or even like shown attention to, all that stuff. And just like those people, they can hang around like those animals, just like that way they can get their
they get the love.
And then it's an opportunity for them to also adopt. So
oh my goodness,
it gets more eyes on those animals, and then have them be more adoptable. Depending.
That is like, that vision is, it's not even incredible. Incredible is not the word. It's like, I don't think that, like, I understand like millionaires, like billionaires, like Elon Musk or whatnot. They have these visions. They're like, no, we're going to go to the moon or whatever it is, right? I just don't think that once they make that much, they have the understanding of like the little stuff that matter, right? Like, yeah, moon is great, but dude, we have a lot of issues right here, right now on Earth, that we can help with, like, whether it be with the animals or just, all the stuff that happened during COVID where people are just lonely. Yeah. People are just like stuck in the house and like, man, I want some, human interaction. It sucked. Yeah. So I think that like, the people, and it's hard because I'm not a billionaire, so I can't say exactly what I would do. Fair. But it's one of those things where you think it's like, we need to take care of what we got here and now. Yeah, exactly. The little stuff that we have, and I think your vision and what you would do if you were wealthy is amazing, because that's this type of stuff that we need.
Yeah, thank you. And like, I think also, so what I was going to say, like, right after I do that, and also before I do that, my work right now has provided like free hours to go volunteer places. Yeah. So you have like a certain amount of hours, I think per year, per month, where you can volunteer. And
so they pay you to volunteer.
Yeah. So pretty much all you got to do is kind of just like sign something with your supervisor saying like, hey, I'm going to volunteer for like 3 hours. Yeah. San Diego Food Bank or beach cleanup or whatever it is. Yeah. And I think we're so, maybe it's just me, maybe whatever it is, like, but I think it's so natural to be like, oh, what can I get from something? Yeah. Right. 100%. And that starts to taint the way, like, your authentic self, the organic ways of thinking, the things that make you grow, all that stuff.
100%.
And then it starts to be like, oh, wait, do I actually like this? Like, what's being fed in, all that stuff. But just as much as like anyone would want something like that, sure, that's fair to a certain point. But also, what can you provide, or how can you bring value to other people, right? So the connection situation, like, how can I bring value to you? I would love to bring value to you.
Yeah.
And like, I love helping people, whatever way that is.
Yeah.
If I don't know how to do something, I can try to figure it out for you and try to help you if I can, kind of thing. I'd love to.
And it always comes back to you.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. It's like there's a law in the unseen world, in the universe, in the spiritual world, whatever you want to say, where when you do something, like, let's say I give, like, you know, somebody on the street, you know, like, dang, I have a lot of money. I give them $20, you know, and I don't even think about it. You know, let's say my heart posture is like, I don't expect anything in return. I just want to bless you. I just want to hook you up.
Right.
You know, those situations always come back to me in a different way. It may not be $20, but it may be a connection. It may be a situation where somebody gives me their, you know, I'm at the Del Mar Fair and they're like, here's our free tickets. We're leaving, you know. It's like, oh, cool. I got free tickets. You know, it comes back, you know. So like my mindset is just like you said in the beginning, it's the same thing. It's staying in that free flowing frequency, like trying to not be in control of everything, trying to always learn and grow, stay in the mindset of growing, learning, humility. There is a part inside of that where you also have to be a go-getter.
Absolutely.
And sometimes that's seen as very sometimes it seems like overbearing.
Greedy.
Yeah, greedy. Yeah. Sometimes it seems like that. But honestly, like every person that you see that is as wealthy has the aspect of, you're not going to stop me from getting to where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know, whether you like it or not, like I'm doing this, you know? And so I think there's an aspect inside of that that's good. That's not pessimistic. That's not greedy. I think that we all have to have that mindset because it helps us get over the fear.
Yeah.
Because the outside interference outside of that free flowing frequency is a bunch of distractions.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't do that. You can't quit your job. Oh, how are you going to make money? How are you going to pay your taxes? Oh, you're going to do this? Oh, man, you know the market right now. All that stuff is trying to stop you from doing what is in your heart to do.
Yeah, or even the simple like questions like, why? Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
This and that. Like, haven't you heard stories? Like,
trying to make you second guess. Right. And, you know, that's why belief and faith are very important to me. And I connect it with everything I do. The kids, the business, friendships, you know, coworkers and things like that. I connect it with all of that. And then also, you know, as my friend Anthony mentioned earlier, there has to be like a system or a growth tracker inside of that. So, you know, you have, a solid foundation of what you're doing and where you're going and why you're doing it. Yeah. You know, all that stuff is important to me. So I definitely want people to be able to connect with you on Instagram. Obviously you work with Lifehouse, so that's, you know, kind of biased, but you know, just like in general, just as a person, you know, there's people out there that probably just want to talk to you based on your life. You know, I think you're first gen, right? You're first generation, right? No, because I think your parents came over here from the Philippines and you were born in the States.
Yeah. So I guess, that
so you're first gen.
I'm first gen.
Yeah. So if you're first generation and you're already this successful, you know what you're doing, you know, you speak Tagalog.
Yes.
See, I mean, like, got 2 languages on you. I think there's people that they're out there and they just want to learn about that. Like, you know, how did you overcome all these situations, moving around, being first generation, all that stuff. You know, Laura's first generation too. Her parents came from Mexico. She had to, you know, her mom doesn't speak English. Yeah. Her dad speaks broken English. Yeah. So she's over there paying bills at 11 years old. It's crazy. And it happens.
Talk about the drive.
I know. It's not just about the drive. So, but yeah, I just want people to, you know, be able to reach out to you. What's your Instagram?
Instagram is at ANDJAMELYYY.
It's going to be on the screen, just in case. Somewhere over here. But yeah, so thank you so much for coming on More Life today. And hopefully we continue to do some work together and just build our relationship and do some more amazing things.
Absolutely, CJ. We're here to grow together.
Thank you.